so orange in that first video. Okay, so it's been 4 days. It's taken me that long to figure out what I want my channel to be about. Like everybody else, I was thinking about just doing the basics, just talking about what's trending, talking about, everything else that everyone else is talking about, AI, war, death, plague, famine, the whole shebang, what humans are good at. I've decided not to. I've decided to go against it and do something I don't see done on many channels these days, and that is only talk about positive stuff. I have avoided social media so long, and it's been blissful, and that's because I try to avoid all the negativity. They usually spark, it's like a snowflake falling on like a mountain and causing an avalanche. Talking about one bad thing, and online, social media, X, YouTube, whatever, it leads down a horrible path of comments, negativity, doxing, all that stuff. Don't want to do it. Don't want to get involved in it. I'll probably still get doxxed and still get some flack for talking about just 100% nice things that just are overall a net positive for humanity. But there's always those people that you'll just never win with. But that's what I've decided my channel is going to be about. So without further ado, I want to talk. Wait, ado? Get together. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite animals. I have top three. Okay, I have three. Well, technically I have four. Okay, I have four favorite animals. Animal number one, octopus. Okay, favorite animal. Close second, turtle. Okay, probably about 1 point. I love turtles and octopus equally. Great creatures, amazing creatures, both of them fantastic. Love them both. Third is the golden lion tamarin. Okay, it's like a little golden monkey. The fourth is the panda, and we are going to be talking about the fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, the giant panda. This is a panda. You might be familiar with it. Great creature, fantastic. Okay, of all the bears, okay, the brown bear, which is a little intimidating, the polar bear, which is a savage murderer. The brown bear is, the panda bear is great. The panda bear is nice, cuddly, and they were on the brink of extinction for a while. Okay, it sucks. They were poached to near extinction. But I'm here to deliver some good news. This is kind of old. It's from back in January of this year. But that pandas are no longer endangered. But some species are still at risk. So the pandas now, at least the giant panda, is no longer endangered, is now considered vulnerable instead because of amazing conservation efforts. And I quote from WWFCA, okay, the WWF is the world, what is it called? The WWF, there you go, the World Wildlife Fund Canada is the WWF. And I think that's the reason why wrestling had to change their name, right? You guys remember a long time ago, it was the WWF, and then I remember when I was younger, a whole bunch of stuff happened, and they had to change the name from WCW to WCW because of something with WWF. I think this is the reason why they had to change it to the WWF. I may be wrong, but And I quote, great news. In a welcome piece of good news for the world's threatened wildlife, the giant panda has been downgraded from endangered to vulnerable on the global list of species at risk of extinction, demonstrating how an integrated approach can help save our planet's vanishing biodiversity. Pandas are now vulnerable, no longer endangered, which means they're only going to go up from here. This is great news, net positive for everybody. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN, announced the positive change to the giant panda's official status in the red list of threatened species, pointing to the 17% rise in population in the decade up to 2014. When a nationwide census found that 1,864 pandas in the wild in China. I'm gonna have to reread that. When a nationwide census found 1,864 giant pandas in the wild in China. Oh, I don't have to reread that. For 50 years, the giant panda has been the globe's most beloved conservation icon, as well as the symbol of the WWF. Knowing that the panda is now a step further from extinction is an exciting moment for everybody committed to conserving the world's wildlife and their habitats, said Marco Lambertini, WWF Director General. Man, you got an army over there? I'm down. Director General. Now, that is a title. worthy of having. The recovery of the panda shows that when science, political will, and engagement of local communities come together, we can save wildlife and also improve biodiversity, added Lambertini. While the panda status has improved, other species are under increasing threat, including the eastern gorilla that is now listed as critically endangered, just one step away from extinction, due primarily to poaching. Very sad. WWF's Panda logo was designed by the organization's founding chairman, the naturalist and painter Sir Peter Scott, in 1961. 20 years later, WWF became the first international organization to work in China. Ever since WWF has been working with the government on initiatives to save giant pandas and their habitat, including helping to establish an integrated network of giant panda reserves and wildlife corridors to connect isolated panda populations, as well as working with local communities to develop sustainable livelihoods and minimize their impact on the forests. Now I'm going to read that over because it came out a little weird. I need to start reading and understanding commas. Let's do that again. Ever since, the WWF has been working with the government on initiatives to save giant pandas and their habitat, including helping to establish an integrated network of giant panda reserves and wildlife corridors to connect isolated panda populations, as well as working with local communities to develop sustainable livelihoods and minimize their impact on the forest. That sounded much better. These efforts have seen the number of panda reserves jump to 67, which now protect nearly 2/3 of all wild pandas. They have also helped to safeguard large swaths of mountainous bamboo forests, which shelter countless other species and provide natural services to vast numbers of people, including tens of millions who live along rivers downstream of panda habitat. This reclassification recognizes decades of successful conservation efforts led by the Chinese government and demonstrates that investment in the conservation of iconic species like giant pandas does pay off. It really does. And benefits our society as a whole, as a species in general. I think it's definitely a good thing to have as much biodiversity when it comes to animals as possible. We can't be letting all of our animals go extinct, especially the nice ones. Like I said, of the bears, of the bear family, pandas are the good ones. They're the ones we want. All right, but brown bears, no. Black bears, maybe. Polar bears are just murderers. We need pandas. We need them around. As I was saying, everyone should celebrate this achievement, but pandas remain scattered and vulnerable, and much of their habitat is threatened by poorly planned infrastructure projects. And remember, there are still only 1,864 left in the wild. That's very small compared to how big China is and how abundant they should be. But after decades of work, it is clear that only a broad approach will be able to secure the long-term survival of China's giant pandas and their unique habitat, made even harder by climate change impacts. It will require even greater government investment, stronger partnerships with local communities, and a wider understanding of the importance of people of conserving wildlife and landscapes in which they live. I want to read that article, that last part, one more time, just to make it sound nicer and wrap it up. After decades of work, it is clear that only a broad approach will be able to secure long-term survival of China's giant pandas and their unique habitat, made even harder by climate change impacts. It will require even greater government investment, stronger partnerships with local communities, and a wider understanding of the importance for people of conserving wildlife and the landscapes in which they live. Once again, this article is brought to you by the WWFCA. Great article, straight to the point. Pandas, we back. All right, they are back. They coming back. They on the way. I love pandas. I have loved pandas since, I'm not gonna lie, Kung Fu Panda. I'm a pretty big fan of Kung Fu Panda. I love Po. I love like an animal world where there's like animals knowing martial arts. Okay, and also pretty big fan of World of Warcraft, the Pandas. That was one of my favorite DLCs. I love Mr. Pandaria. Oh man, the Thunder God. That dungeon was one of the best. You know, I forget. No, it was a long time ago. I forget the name of it. But I love pandas. Like I said, of all the bears, they are my favorite. Great. They need to stick around. This is a net positive for everyone, I think, and I don't think anyone's mad that pandas are going to be sticking around a little bit longer. But yes, that is the good news for today. I'm probably going to try to do at least 3 good news videos a day. I got to make up for the last 4 days of trying to decide what the hell I even want to make. I made like 6, 7 different videos of different topics, and they didn't feel right. Like I said, I don't want to use a script. I want to talk about something I like, something I'm passionate about. And I'm very passionate about positivity. So definitely going to bring some more positivity to what little corner, you know, of the internet I can. Thank you for watching. More to come. Have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, all that. And I will see you guys later. If I can stop recording.